I want to thank Brooklyn Bedding for sponsoring today's video. I've got their mattresses in my tiny house, my RV, and my camper van, and I really enjoy them. Do you need a mattress for your home or RV? Then go to rvmattress.com/campervankevin. Use the coupon code campervankevin to get 25% off your purchase. All right, now back to our video. Hey everybody, Campervan Kevin here. How are y'all doing today? Me? I'm better. I'm walking down here at Beyond Vagabond to one of my favorite sitting areas where I like to sit and think. I want to go down here, make a video, talk to you about some things. Should have had the camera going. Big rabbit just ran out in front of me. Sometimes I sit at Vagabond, sometimes I come up here to Beyond Vagabond, clear my head, think my thoughts. Beautiful. There's an outcropping of flat rocks here. Need to bring my chair back out here. Somebody put in some, what's that, flower gardens or plant gardens. There was a fort here when I bought the property and cleared all that out, made with pallets. Yeah, good place to clear my thoughts. Good place to sit right here. How's the light? So I realize I've been off YouTube since August the 5th, and it'll probably be September 5th before this video is released. I want to apologize. I've been on YouTube, what, 11 years? Maybe more? Somewhere right in there. And the longest I've gone, mosquito, 4 or 5 days. Most of the time I put out a video every 3 days. That's what I try to do. But I've had a hard lick or two, and I haven't felt very creative. I guess it's easy to have a YouTube channel and talk bad about people. It's a little bit harder to, I feel, to create or tell about your life or show your travels, those things. So I wrote in my community board on my channel, and a lot of people found it. A lot of people know. I talked about it on my Campervan Kevin Facebook, talked about it on my Campervan Kevin Patreon. Got a lot of good subscribers, people that tune into the channel. But if you are a little bit behind, I'll say this, it's been a real hard year for me. I lost my mother. We had a bad relationship most of my life, but before she died, we worked things out, forgave each other, and made the best of it as we could. Should have brought me a tripod. Then I lost 3 real good friends, and everything kind of felt like it was back to back to back, okay? And I really didn't deal with one bad thing before the next bad thing happened, before the next bad thing happened. I only do one thing well at a time. So back July, I was really struggling. Then my last friend I'd known since I was 17, Scott, he died of a massive heart attack in Cornelia, Georgia. And turns out after he died, his girlfriend found out that they got a baby together. It just really, that's a punch in the gut. And I thought it was the camel that broke, the feather that broke the camel's back, right? And if I'd have had a job, you know, a normal 9 to 5, Monday through Friday job, I would have had to take some time off. It was just too much. But see, I realize it, and I don't feel bad about, I mean, everybody's got problems. If you're alive and if you're breathing, you're going to have problems. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have these things. Nobody escapes life. Doesn't matter your status, your income, your fame. If you're living and breathing on this earth, you're going to have some problems. And the problems that came along with the things I told you and some other things, it was just beyond my skill set to deal with them. And I was struggling. Yeah. So I kind of decided I was going to take a little bit of time to myself, clear my thoughts. And then the worst possible thing, not the worst, yeah, maybe the worst possible thing. My oldest Yorkie I had for the longest time, 12 years and 9 months. My best buddy in the world, my heart, she died. And it just kind of set me into a tailspin. You know, I don't feel weak about it. I'm just human. This rock is hard on my butt, so I'm going to be switching around a good bit. Just devastating, you know. And I've seen people that were on YouTube that lost their pets, and they kind of dealt with their grief publicly. My hats are off to them. And they make these nice videos and show pictures and talk about their lives, and you know, they're visibly shaken, they're upset. I just couldn't do it. In fact, I tried, and I spit and I sputtered. I couldn't form complete sentences or thoughts looking into this camera here. It just wasn't possible for me to talk about it until now. Now, you know, I still have Dexter, I still have Tucker, I still have baby May. But I'll tell you a little bit more about it, what has happened. Martini was fine. She's been gone now 2-3 weeks. But she was fine on a Saturday, running, playing, jumping, being bossy to me, to the others. She challenged me for pack leader every day. She loved me and I loved her. You know, showing emotion is not a sign of weakness, but doing what I do. You show emotion, and if the sharks smell blood in the water, they attack. Lowlifes. People that talk about people for fun and for profit. So she was fine Saturday. Now I had realized that lately she's not as active. Couldn't walk as far, didn't want to walk as far. I thought she was just being stubborn and getting a little age on her. But most Yorkies live 16, 18 years. They can. Heard of a couple in the United Kingdom. They had 2 Yorkies over 25. And I thought, well, if I took good enough care of her, you know, I could get 15, 16, 18 years. But her litter mate, one of her litter mates died about 6 months ago. It spooked me. Neither one of her parents made 13 years. Spooked me. And her parents that owned her parents, the human parents that owned Martini's mom and dad, were very wealthy. And if money would have saved them, they'd have been saved. So Saturday we have a good day. Hadn't noticed anything other than Martini just laying around a little bit, but she's still full of fire, spark in her eyes. Hold on a second. If I make these clips too long at once, they're hard to upload. So she was fine. Went to bed Saturday night. I give all of them their loves. I sit there and hug on each one for a minute or two, tell them how much I love them, what they did wrong, what they did right. Just, you know, these are not my dogs. God gave them to me to take care of them for Him. But, you know, they are my dogs too. They're my responsibility. And, you know, sharing them, what I realized is that Martini was y'all's too. My wolf pack belongs to my subscribers a little bit too. You guys are invested in them and their lives. Many of you have been around since the very beginning. That's why I'm making this video. One reason. Went to bed Saturday. Saw nothing. Woke up Sunday morning and took her outside. Everything looked fine. Then to go use the bathroom. We went back to bed because I get up about 4 or 5. Take them out. We got back up about 6. And boy, she was feeling bad. Okay. And she couldn't poop. She strained and strained and strained. She had one normal poop. Looked fine. In fact, she pooped on the bed. Martini never, ever poops on the bed. In fact, I wasn't even sure it was her. But it was her. She couldn't poop. So I thought that maybe she had some kind of blockage. Maybe she found a bone or ate something wrong and she couldn't poop. Well, she started dragging around. She couldn't walk well. And as the day went on, she got worse and worse. Now, I just had taken her to Spain and had her blood work done. Her thyroid and her kidneys were fine. No change. So she's in good shape. Okay. I didn't do the full blood work, but I did do like the most pertinent blood work. I tell you what, she got to feeling bad. I was able to get a hold of Spain. I was thinking about taking her to emergency vet to Flagstaff, 3 hours away. No, I want Spain. You know, Spain saved Tucker when he got poisoned. I really like the man. I trust him. This shade looked weird on me. Anyway, he said, Kevin, I'm out of town till 6 p.m. Let's get up and move around a little bit. I'm out of town till 6 p.m. So I waited to 6. And I took her in. And she was doing poorly. In fact, I thought a time or two she was going to die. Had a phone call. So I thought a couple times she would die. So I got her to Spain. I was so happy. He took her right in, 6 o'clock, and did an x-ray of her. Not a blockage, but
some of that older stuff we were talking about. So this is her on her side.
Okay.
Head's that way.
Yeah.
Lungs, diaphragm, everything else back that way.
Okay.
What you're seeing is right here That chest cavity should look like this, but it doesn't. It's pretty grayed out.
What is
And
that?
all this is a heart. So there's more than likely this is congestion of fluid up in the chest in through here. When we flip us over on our back to get another look, see, that's all heart.
Okay.
That's way too big. I mean, there's hardly any lung space left. So our heart's getting bigger. We're starting to have right-sided heart problems or congestive heart failure kind of situation going on too. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And he said, Kevin, her heart is very, very enlarged. He said there's almost no room for her lungs. And I was like, he's like, we could put her to sleep, Kevin. I was like, well, she's had this for a long time. It didn't just happen overnight. He said, well, there's medicine we can give her. We'll give it a try. I said, well, I think she's stopped up. She's backed up. He said, I don't see any signs of that, Kevin, in the x-ray. Okay. Took her home, and she was doing poorly. And that night, I stayed up with her, and she finally was able to clear her bowels and stuff out. And I said, finally. I couldn't figure out what it was that stopped her up. It's like, now she'll get better. Woke up Monday morning, and she was cold and stiff. She was still alive. So I got her up, called to Spain back. I said she needs some IVs. She needs IV therapy. She won't drink any water. I said she cleared her, whatever obstruction it was, she cleared it. And she'll be on the mend, and we'll treat her for the heart. And, you know, Martini, she's a fighter. She had that spark. So I drive over to the vet, and on the way I stop at Maverick and get something at the convenience store. I'm carrying her. And walk in, and the guy behind the counter, oh, what a pretty Yorkie. And Martini just shook her head and licked him. She loved people. So I was like, okay, she's going to be okay, you know? She's feeling pretty good. Left her at Despain's. They gave her some fluids. And I thought, I mean, there's no signs of anything, guys. I called back I got her there at 9 o'clock in the morning. I called back about 2 or 3 because I hadn't heard from them. And they said, Kevin, she's not doing good at all. You need to come over. You need to come in. I'm like, oh no. So I got there, and she was laying in the cage, in the pen. There's a picture of her. Little leg was shaking. And she saw me, and she perked up. But of course she's feeling bad. And they said, Kevin, her kidneys have shut down completely. And I said, why? I said, she has an enlarged heart. Why is her kidney shut down? They said, well, we had the same question. We just did an ultrasound. We found a massive tumor on her kidney. And we say massive, it was as big or bigger than her kidney. Well, I know what that feels like. Maybe not as big as compared to what she had. And I think my little, you know, my baby was suffering. And I looked at her and I said, it's just too much. You know, it's just too much. And, you know, kind of lost the spark in her eye. And I said, we gotta sorry. I don't want her to suffer. I was like, I don't want her to suffer. But I had all the other dogs in the car. And I think it's important that they got to see her. So they kind of understood. You know, dogs are smarter than what you think. So they had the IV hooked up to her. We went out the door. I sat in the car with the IV on the outside. And I showed her to May May. May May, you know, kind of kissed her. Was kind of scared. You know, she smelled funny, medicine and all that, I guess. Tucker, Lord help him, he's just oblivious, but he sniffed her for a second. And Dexter scared him to death. And I talked to his mom in Quartzsite, and she told me that when Dexter's daddy died, the EMTs worked on him for an hour in their house, and Dexter saw that. And of course, I'm boo-hooing and crying like a 12-year-old girl. It scared Dexter so bad, he didn't have anything to do with me for 2 days. He's a very, very loving dog, but he's very emotional. He's more emotional than my other two. So, we all said our goodbyes. Horrible moment. And I went and knocked on the door, and they brought her back in. And Despain wasn't there. So he's got a new vet there, Dr. Katie, I think is her name. Dr. Katie. And a technician that I'm a friend with. They cut off the IV, they injected the shot. The vet turned on the IV and it pushed it into her IV in her arm. Sorry, I had to compose myself. And I always had a saying with Martini since she was a little puppy. I got her for my wife when I was married. Her cousin had a Yorkie and carried it everywhere. My wife's teenage son just had moved out. Had an empty nest syndrome thing going on. I still had Taya. Had her almost 20 years. Taya lived another year. Martini was a year old. I had to put her to sleep. She was my best buddy. And then Martini really took up with me. Well, she always took up with me. My wife was great. Was good to her, but she picked me. But I always had a saying, I'd hold Martini real close from a puppy. And I'd say, Daddy loves Martini, and Martini loves Daddy. She turned on the valve, and I held her. I held her real close. And I told her, Daddy loves Martini, and Martini loves Daddy. And she took about 8 or 10 quick breaths, and that was that. She was such a fighter. It don't seem real. But I held her for about a minute, and I said, how do y'all do this job? I said, how do you do this job? How do you stand it? And they're like, well, it's hard, but we help a lot of pets too. So the doctor said, Kevin, I need to listen to her heart. You gotta get her away from your chest. I'm back. And really beautiful things she said. So she listened to her heart away from me. And she said she's gone to heaven. And that's when I really lost it. So I handed her to my friend, walked away, turned back around, kissed her one more time, right there. It just seemed surreal. And I told the vet, I said, I gotta go. So I pay my bills. I said, but I'm leaving right now. I can't deal with it right now. I have to go. Not a problem. Thank you so much, Despain, Kate, Nina. They're at Cedar Ridge Vet. Fantastic people. I went back in the next day or two, paid my bill. I decided to have her cremated, and I said, I want her ashes. I don't want her ashes and some other ashes, or somebody just puts ashes on a thing. I said, I want my dog's ashes. And she said, not a problem. So I waited a week. It was a Friday. Her ashes, they hadn't delivered the ashes back to the vet. I went to where they do the cremation. I said, I got to have her. I'm not going to go all weekend. I said, I want her ashes. And they were very helpful. And we got an urn. Yeah, let me walk back to the house, and I'll show you. You know, while I'm walking back, I really want to thank my sponsors for understanding. You know, I have contracts with these people, and just fabulous companies. And I called them up. I told them what was happening, what was going on. And this is before Martini. That I may not be making as many videos for a minute. You know what they said, Kevin? We understand. Take your time. All right. Dexter, where are you going, buddy? Come on, get back, go on the truck. So, Tucker, he's doing okay. You know, Martini's death didn't seem to affect him too much. He's very resilient. Baby May May's been sad a little bit. I thought with Martini gone, she'd kind of step up and be like Martini, but she hasn't. She needs to be led. She's not a leader. But Dexter, you know, he's only been around 4 or 5 months now. Martini let him lay with her. She kind of accepted him. I mean, they had a fight or two, but this has really, really hurt Dexter the worst. And he knew her the least amount of time. But looks like Dexter's going to be the new boss. Me and him go and do everything together. But I'm a little dusty over there. Here's Dexter's on my tummy here. You know, there's Martini. There's the urn. I sleep with the urn most nights. Y'all think less or more of me doesn't. I put it where she slept beside me. Well, I haven't for the last couple nights. I just keep her on the shelf, but I did for several weeks. Just a part of life. I know this is a very long video. It's not my normal style. I want to thank everybody for the kind words and support. Just losing Martini alone would be enough to be devastating. But I'm just human. You know, I'm just a regular guy. I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to start making videos again. Maybe not at the level I was, but I'm going to start slowly getting back into it. Making videos has always been my therapy of sorts. Maybe it can be again. All right. Just thanks for all the support and understanding. So I'm going to end this little video where, right here, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Hey, we'll see you again soon. You guys take care. And as always, I give God the glory for my life. Jesus Christ, He's my Lord and Savior. See you next video. Bye from Concho, Arizona.